Hello and welcome to another Pauper video. Today we're not playing a league, we're discussing all of the awesome trophies that have happened in the last week in Pauper. It's Trophy Tuesdays once again. So before we get into anything crazy, let's look at the metagame. We've got Mono Red on top still, but not quite as much of a high percentage as before, with Glitter's Affinity right next to it and Golgari Gardens coming in afterwards. Gardens, Terror, and Coggates are all in a very similar spot with just one trophy separating them, but Terror had a huge number of trophies from just one pilot. There's 5 trophies here on February 8th, which my note just says, oh, wow. So that's a little bit of a preview. And then moving down the line, we've got some trophies from Familiars, Terror, Synth, or Jeskai Ephemerate, some new Synth cards, and then Golgari Dredge has some new cards. And let's go ahead and get into the trophies for the week. On the first day of the week, we've got 20 decks. And the most represented appears to be Mono Red. And coming in after that was Golgari Gardens at 4, Familiars at 3, and Terror, Mono Blue Terror at 2. No interesting, crazy notes on this one other than that Barf has 3 trophies here on the same list from Mono Red. I happened to trophy twice. I went 10-0 with Familiars, which was awesome. Really was enjoying this list, and if you check out my channel, you can see a run of the same list where I didn't run quite so hot, which was unfortunate. But we were crushing then. We've got Mono Blue Terror here. Mono Black Burns, kind of cool to see. We also have a Bogles, which we haven't seen in a long time. And this Bogles is obviously playing the... What? They're not playing all the glitters. Okay. So this person just picked up their old list and ran it. That's pretty interesting. 0 all the glitters and Bogles. Okay. Wow. Interesting. All right, let's get into day 2. So day 2, we've got the highest amount of trophies was not very high. Highest was 2 at Turbo Fog, Jeskai Ephemerate, and Glitter's Affinity. Only 13 decks on the day. This was the first day that we saw demand answers and multiple Thraben Inspectors. So Barf has 3 demand answers in his list, which has the additional cost to sacrifice an artifact or discard a card, and then you draw 2 cards. It's also got 7 Thraben Inspectors, not 8. I don't know why we didn't put 8. Come on. And then the rest is kind of the regular Boros Synth list. We don't have anything else that crazy. Actually, if I look down here at Simarisu, this person beat me and got a trophy. They're playing Red-Green Initiative. I did take this into a league and got kind of wrecked, so I think this person really knows how to pilot the deck. They're definitely crushing with that deck. If we go on to day 3, the 8th, we've got 22 decks here, and the highest placing deck was Izzet Terror with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trophies in one day on the same exact list. That is insane for Spock Vita Loca. Oh my goodness. Other than that, we're looking at a pretty varied meta with Glitter's Affinity, Familiars, and Turbo Fog on 2. Also have Mono Red Gardens, Coggates, Blue Terror, Jeskai FM, obviously the Boros Synth that we talked about. Elves players still putting up results. We got a Dimir Fae and Dimir Terror. Altertron over here from Satan Raken. That's me. And in the previous, we also had Altertron from Jormond. So you can check out the difference in the list. This person is playing 4 Mirror Retriever and 1 Kinsmith, 3 Golem Foundry, and Ancient Stirrings. Whereas my list is playing Crop Rotation and fewer of those creatures, which I think is, I find better. Obviously, people have different opinions on how to play out the decks. If we go to the 9th, we've got Mono Red back on top with 4. A lot of these are slightly varied lists. So Mikahartha, Like a Pharaoh, etc. These players are playing mostly just the Selka style 1-drops deck. And a couple of times we'll see some Reckless Impulses, but it looks like everybody here is just on the 1-drops deck. Don't have any good notes here. We have a Golgari Dredge, actually, which is playing the new card, which is kind of like a Stitcher Supplier. Let's look at it. C9 Taco. This person was not playing the new card. Okay. We'll get to it then. Over here we've got Cawgate, Black-Green, Spock with his 6th trophy in 2 days. Come on. Crazy. On the next day, top deck here was Glitter's Affinity with 5 different pilots piloting Azorius and Jeskai Affinity lists. We've got Mono Red with 1. Cawgates actually had 4 trophies on this day. 1 Familiars, Mono Blue Fae, Rakdos Madness, kind of cool to see over here. White Weenie, Demir Control. And then digging into the Dredge deck, we're playing Rubble Belt Maverick, which says ETB Surveil 2. And you can exile it from your graveyard to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature activate as a sorcery. So this allows you to have another 1-drop to mill, as well as some pretty cool ability from exiling it from the graveyard. And they're on 2 Exhumes. On the next day, we saw Mono Red with just 1, but the top deck on that day was Golgari Gardens, and then we've got 2 Glitter's Affinities, 2 Izzet Terrors, 2 Elves, and 2 Walls. Good for you, Apis and GN. I wonder if it's the same list. 35 tickets. Nope, not the same list. Oh well. And then this Boros Synth here is playing 8 Inspector finally. This is the list that Kerblinksy top 8'd, actually top 2'd, the Pauper Challenge on Saturday. And the Pauper Challenges this week were kind of messed up because Magic Online exploded on Sunday, so I didn't cover those overall. On the last day of the week, we have Cawgates with 4 pilots making a trophy, Mono Red with 2, then we're rounding it out with Glitter's Affinity, Golgari Gardens, Terror, Boros Synth, still playing the Demand Answers, which is cool. We've got Blue X Fae, I think it was, yep, just Blue-Black Fae, Golgari Dredge, and then an Orzhov Blade. So, that's pretty much the meta. It's cool to see some new cards coming into play. It's sort of balancing out a little bit more as far as the trophies go. Maybe people are trying new things, but we're still looking at a metagame where Mono Red is the top dog, Glitter's Affinity is coming in behind, and Golgari Gardens seems to be able to keep pace with these. Plus, Izzet Terror seems to be an up-and-comer. I think that people are not taking this deck out that much, and we do know that it is very, very bad against Cawgates, so Cawgate kind of eats Izzet Terror. But Golgari Garden seems to have the strength to push over the and kill Glitter's Affinity and Mono Red, so I would definitely call them the top 3 decks of this week. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know if there was some spice that I missed. I tried to cover it, but I ended up traveling this week, and I'm a little bit tired, unfortunately. So hopefully you're all having a great night, and I will see you in the next video.